those quote unquote games?
Well, we were okay. We had, you can only imagine the first scrimmage. I didn't like the way we finished. We moved the ball decent inside the 20s, and we kicked some field goals, and we've got to get those converted into touchdowns. I did like the way Terry, for the first time, in a long time, he's in that pocket and live bullets he just looked very comfortable, and that was really good to see. But we've got a lot of work to do. We've got to be more consistent, and I get it. There's a first scrimmage, so I'm not going to panic yet. But offense is about execution, and we just got to be better at that this next Saturday.
John Hale.
Eddie, Cleveland Thomas is a guy who's kind of been up and down throughout his career. He played early, then he had the redshirt year, then he was a real contributor last season. Just how have you seen him progress over the year? What kind of roles do you anticipate him having for this offense this season?
Well, Coach Bo's moving him around right now during this camp, and everybody's being moved around right now. We've got AD on daily moving. He's moved inside. We've put Clee outside, and we're really challenging him. Coach Bo is really, talking about consistency. If we're not consistent, then you get moved down a day and let the next guy try it. So there's a lot of competition going on right now from all of them, but Clee has to, I would just say the biggest thing with him is just being consistent. And he's not the only one. We've got a lot of them, a lot of players that have to be consistent, but I would say that would be it with Cleveland. If he becomes consistent, he's got all the tools, then he'll help us a lot this fall.
Hey, Eddie, every time at the beginning of the year, the coaches always talk about fear of the unknown. Mark talks about it all the time. What are maybe 2 or 3 of your biggest fears right now?
Well, number one, just getting to the 26th, right, with a full group. That would be, one of the unknowns, right, with everything going on. So, you really have to sit down and think about it, and you've got to prepare, move guys around if somebody gets tagged and can't get on the plane, or, there's just a number of things you got to think about. If I do, and then, who calls the game, how does it all work? So, that's probably the biggest fear. But other than that, it's an SEC opponent. It's going to be a dogfight. It's going to be a grind. It's on the road, and it's a top 10 team.
John Clay.
Eddie, following up on that, because of what you talked about with COVID and that sort of thing, and also with the fact that the season's been moved back to, or the start's been moved back to the 26th, has that allowed you more time to try people at different positions and make different scenarios that might happen? Has moving the season back allowed you to do more of that sort of thing?
Absolutely. It's a good question. For sure, at the receiver position, that's happening every day. And then today we really started it with the O-line. Got to move Kennard inside a little bit at guard. Also, we moved him back over to the left side. The left tackle, got him some reps there. Moved some other guys inside, moved Q to guard. And then, Luke at center, and then vice versa. You put Q at some of the guard positions, and Drake has played some of the guard positions. So we're moving him around right now, and Coach Larmer's doing a great job with that. And we're just seeing kind of what the best fit is,
Nick.
You spoke rather glowingly of Jaton McClain in the spring. How is that? Has he carried that over into fall camp?
Absolutely. He's a little bit different. Locked in every day. He knows this offense as well as any of the 3 that I have right now. I think he's a special player.
When Benny was here, you said that guys had to prove they earned to get on the football field. Is that kind of your standard, is proving in practice that's how you feel?
Always. It's always about, make me play you, you know, and the old adage, the eye in the sky doesn't lie, it doesn't. You know, you watch tape every day, you look at effort, you look at straining, you look at mental errors, and that young man doesn't have them. So, you know, I feel very comfortable putting him in the game. A lot of competition in my room right now.
John Hale.
Eddie, a couple late additions to the roster this summer, the Lewis brothers. Just what are your expectations for them, where they fit in, and are both of them eligible to play this season?
Yeah, they're both they're athletic. They can run, and haven't seen a lot of them because they came late. So you know, right now we're trying to get ready for a game. So it's I think expectations right now would it be tough, maybe mid-season, but they've got a lot to learn. They're behind, but sure do like to see them athletically and what they're bringing to the table when you see them do routes on air, catching the ball, run after catch. So we'll see how they progress here mid-season.
Jeff.
Eddie, we haven't talked a great deal about the tight ends yet. Just kind of what are you seeing out of them so far, and what are some ways you can kind of utilize that depth there?
Yeah, we've got you know, the four of them right now are battling. Um, we have used them, and Keaton's got some really good deep balls for us this camp already. We're getting them out in the passing game. We're getting them out in RPOs. And it's the same stuff that we've done, you know, just we didn't do it last year. But they can be a weapon because they can body people up and you can create those matchups. And so I'm excited about where they are right now. Got to get better, you know, like all of them. You know, we still got to be able to run the ball and be physical in this league. And when you go 10 games like that in a row, we're going to need all four of them because it'll be a war. So, you know, they've got double duty at that position. But catching the ball well, and I'm excited to be able to do some things formationally and in the passing game with them.
Eddie, you just said there's a lot of competition in your room, and last year we saw what Chris Rodriguez can do and some of the flashes of what kind of back he can be. What have you seen from him so far this preseason, and what does he need to do to kind of take over that role even more?
Yeah, you know, Chris is kind of, you know, Mr. Steady. He comes to work every day and does everything that we ask him to do. You know, I think that Chris is in a great spot right now. He's 1 year further into this. He knows it a lot better. He's coming a lot more confident. Today he had a great day in pass protection. I think that's the one thing that I really am excited about with him is he's come a long way in pass pro. So if he continues to do that, then you trust him more on certain downs where he can be in there.
Josh.
Eddie, is it the case that with AJ that is he kind of a guy that you know what you're getting at this point, or is he doing things, or are you seeing things from him that maybe you haven't seen before this fall?
I'm seeing things that I haven't seen so far, and I'm going to go back to pass protection. I'm seeing him be more physical, and that's something that we talked about. If he wants to play at the next level, number one, at this level, you got to be pretty physical. But if you want to play in that NFL as a running back, and some of those linebackers at 240 to 260 pounds, you know, you've got to understand leverage. You got to understand that, you know, you got to get stripe to stripe with somebody, and, you know, you got to have an anchor, and you got to shoot your hands, and, you know, you got to hold it for 2.5 seconds. And we're not getting a half a man right now. We're getting stripe to stripe, and we're doing some things better there with AJ. So I'm excited about that. And then just, you know, in terms of hitting the hole and being square and not turning our body, he's doing those things too. So he's really listening, and he's taking coaching, and I like where he's at as well.
All right, we'll wrap up with John Wong.
Eddie, fans always love to jump ahead. A lot of them are already game planning for Auburn. When does that actually kick in for you guys? When are you going to actually start breaking down film of Auburn and your first opponent?
That's already been happening for quite some time, especially as soon as we knew we were going to play him this year. We just didn't know when. So we had 4 or 5 that we already scouted during COVID. So we had a preliminary, at least in terms of personnel. Is our defensive coordinator back? Because that would be a fear of the unknown too if you had a coordinator that was brand new in your first game. Coach Steele's been there at Auburn. So, for us, him and me, we've got plenty of film to watch. So that's already been happening. And now it's just about what our personnel is and for us to find out as a staff in the next 20 days, is to really find out who we are. What does Terry do best? What does Bo do best? What does Joey do best? What does Sawyer do? What build it around the quarterback, and then all those pieces to the receivers and tight ends and everybody. What can we do best to be most successful?
All right, we'll get Chris up here in just 2 minutes.
Thank you all.